Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Today, I would like to explain production budget and labor budget. Very easy to understand this production budget. The budget prepared by the production department. The department which converts the raw materials into finished goods. So, in production department, who will prepare this production budget? As you know well, which I have already discussed you. The departmental head is liable to prepare the budget of his department. So, in production department, the production manager is supposed to prepare production budget in relation to sales budget. Because I already told you that you cannot prepare any budget without the help of sales budget. So sales budget is mandatory. With the help of sales budget, you can prepare production budget, you can prepare manpower budget, you can prepare cash budget, whatever. So production budget is prepared in relation to sales budget. Production budget is a forecast of production that you have to forecast the production for the budget period for future, that how much units you want to produce. It is prepared for the number of units to be produced and also for the cost to be incurred on material, on labor, and on factory overhead. That how much cost incurred on raw materials, labor, and overhead, that you have to ascertain to produce the specific number of units which you want to produce in the budget period. So you prepare this production budget keeping into considerations what is to be produced and when it is to be produced. What and when. What do you want to produce and when you want to produce. It is prepared keeping into consideration few stages. That is production planning. So you have to make the planning that how much units you want to produce, that you have to determine the utilization of optimum plant capacity and avoidance of bottlenecks due to shortage of materials and labor is considered. So you have to have the idea that how much units of the product you want to produce, keeping into considerations your utilization of optimum plant capacity and avoidance of any bottlenecks due to shortage of raw materials and labor. Number 2, you have to consider of plant capacity. So how much is the capacity of the plant which you can use? That also needs to be considered. That number of units of different products to be produced should be determined. number of units of different products to be produced should be determined, and the capacity which the plant will be able to work throughout the budgeted period should be decided. So you have to have the idea of number of units of the different products you want to produce. Clear? We should not be we should not fix the capacity either too high or too low. A normal plant capacity which will be a realistic estimate should be budgeted. So you should not fix the capacity which is either too high or too low. Why? Because you cannot produce like that. Next one is stock quantity to be sold. So this is also we needed to consider that how much stock quantity you want to sell. Like if suppose we are only two persons in a home, and suppose one person usually take 1 kg of rice, and you are two guys, then how much you want to cook? 2 kg. It means 2 kg of rice you are able to sell, because two persons customers is coming. One customers will consume 1 kg of rice. So you should consider that how much stocks you want to sell. In place of 2 kg, if you cook 10 kg of rice, then what happen? There is a wastage. You are supposed to throw it out. Then wastage of money. So better to know how much quantity you want to sell. Because if you want to know that how much quantity I want to sell, based on that, if you produce, then there is no wastage. So how much quantity you want to sell, it means you have to have the idea of sales budget. So the quantity of finished goods to be carried forward should be deducted. The quantity will depend upon sales potential, sorted facilities available, and cost of stock should be considered. So while fixing production target, the required closing stock will be added to the estimated sales figures, and opening stock will be deducted from it. Then only you can calculate that how much units you want to produce. That is how you calculate production, how much to produce. That is, you have to have the idea that how much is your estimated sales, how much is your desired closing stock, and how much is your estimated opening stock. So estimated sales means that will be consumed. Desired closing stock, it means you have to produce. And the opening stock, that is a closing stock of the previous month or previous day, which is already you have, that you don't need to produce. It means how much you should produce. Suppose if the estimated sales is 100 rupees, if the desired closing stock will be suppose 50 rupees, and if the opening stock is 20 rupees, then how much you should produce? Suppose if I say that estimated sales is 100 units, desired closing stock is 50 units, and opening stock is 20 units, then how much one should produce? That is estimated sales 100 unit plus desired closing stock 50 units, 100 plus 50, 150, minus opening stock which you don't need to produce. It means that should be deducted. That is 20 units. It means 150 minus 20, that is 130 units you have to produce. This is your production budget. It's very simple. So, considering sales budget, yes, production budget is fixed with reference to sales budget. So, production budget you should prepare with keeping into consideration the sales budget which I have discussed you before. The sales budget will provide a guideline for production planning. So sales budget will provide you the guidelines for production planning. Now, it is clear that what is production budget and what are the factors which you need to consider. So there are two objectives: what is to be produced and when it is to be produced. What are the factors? General factors is production capacity, production planning, that is consideration of plant capacity, and stock quantity to be sold, and sales budget. These are the important factors which one should consider while planning, while preparing production budget. Now, I would like to discuss few calculations, and with the help of this calculation it is very easy to understand this production budget, and you can calculate any number of questions from production budget. Now, there is one question in which the organization is producing 4 products. Suppose Maruti is producing 4 products: Alto, Gen, Swift and Baleno. Then what should you, because you want to prepare this production budget, so what are the factors which you want to consider while preparing this production budget? I already told you that you should have the data of estimated sales, that how much you want to sell. So you want to sell 4,000 units of Alto, 6,000 units of Zen, 8,000 units of Swift and 6,000 units of Baleno. This is estimated sales on January 1st, 2017. And the estimated sales during January to March is 20,000 of Alto, 30,000 of Zen, 26,000 of Swift and 24,000 of Baleno. And desired opening stock which you want to keep in your showroom, that is 6,000 units of Alto, 20,000 units of Zen, 6,000 units of Swift and 4,000 units of Baleno. It means estimated sales during January to March, that is 20,000 units of Alto. So what do you think? This is the estimated sales which you have to sell. So 20,000 units of Gen, Alto you have to produce. In addition to this, you have a desired closing stock also. which you are not going to sell, but which you are which you keep in your showroom. That is 6,000 units. It means this 6,000 units again you have to produce. So 20,000 of sale and 6,000 of desired closing stock, that is 26,000. And the opening stock, that is closing stock of 31st of December, which will become the opening stock, that is estimated sales on 1st January. This is the opening stock, opening sales. That opening stock is 4,000 rupees, 4,000 units, which is already you have in stock. So this 4,000 units you don't need to produce. So 20,000 units of goods you want to sell, that this which is your estimated sales, you have to produce. 6,000 is which is your closing stock, that is desired closing stock, you have to produce. Then 20 plus 6, 26,000. But you don't need to produce 26,000. Why? Because you have already 4,000 of Alto as an opening stock. So you deduct this opening stock of 4,000 units from 26,000. Then how much you should produce? 26 minus 4,000, that is 22,000 units of Alto. Is that clear? Now tell me, how much you should produce Gen? The same way, estimated sales of Gen is 30,000 units. Desired closing stock is 20,000. The 30,000 plus 20,000, 50,000. Minus opening stock is 6,000. 50 minus 6, that is 44,000. So 44,000 of Gen you have to produce, not 50,000. Swift. 26,000 of estimated sales which you have to produce. 6,000 the desired closing stock supposed to produce. 26 plus 6, 36, 32,000. 8,000 you don't need to produce because you have already. So 32,000 minus 8,000, 24,000 units you have to produce. Now Baleno, 24,000, which is your estimated sales. Desired closing is 4,000. 24 and 4, 28,000. And 6,000 you don't need to produce because you already have in your stock. So 28 minus 6,000, that is 22,000. 28 minus 6,000, that is 22,000 units you have to produce. So the total production is how much? Total production is, that is 22,000 of Alto, 44,000 of Zen, 24,000 of Swift, and 22,000 of Baleno. So total number of product you want to produce during this budgeted period is how much? 112,000. That is 1,12,000 of the product you want to produce, in which 22,000 of Alto you have to produce, 44,000 of Gen you have to produce, 24,000 of Swift you have to produce, and 22,000 of Baleno you have to produce. Is that clear? If not, you are free. You can ask me any questions and change this data and solve minimum 5 questions. Then only you have to have the guts, confidence, you can enhance your confidence. Otherwise, it's a sheer wastage of time because you will not understand. So I have discussed you the theories, why you want to produce this production budget, what are the factors which are required while preparing this production budget, and I have also discussed one examples and this will give the clear cut picture of production budget. So now the comment you can write in the comment box. If you have any problem, if you write the queries or your problems in comment box, then in the next class we can discuss and I will solve your problem. Okay, this is your production budget. Now come to labor budget. So the same way, labor budget will be prepared by manpower human resource department. This labor budget will tell us about the estimates of direct labor requirements essential for carrying out the budgeted output. So, how much output do you want to produce? To produce specific number of output, how much labor is required? That you have to know. And this data you will not get in sales budget or production budget or any budget. This type of details you will get only in labor budget. In preparation of this budget, previous records of the percentage labor cost in the total cost of each product, group or department will be considerably help. Means these will help you that percentage labor in total cost of each product, or total cost of group or department will help you to prepare this labor budget. This labor budget may give detail regarding direct labor cost only or both direct labor hours and cost both. In direct labor hours, the cost can be calculated by making an estimate of cost per unit of production. But in labor cost, estimates will have to be made about direct labor hours and average wage rate. So, this direct labor budget will be classified into two parts: direct labor requirement budget and direct labor procurement budget. That how much labor is required and how much labor you want to procure. This direct labor requirement budget tells about the direct labor required in terms of quantity and values. Tells about the direct labor required in terms of quantity and value. And direct labor procurement budget tells about how much additional direct labor workers to be recruited. That how much labor you want to recruit, that will be available in direct labor procurement budget. So, how you prepare this labor budget? For this, we need to go through one example. So, suppose we take the example in which we have to have the idea about the budgeted sales of the project which we want to produce. Here we want to consider 1 quarter, because in 1 year there are 52 weeks, and 1 quarter there is 13 weeks. So here we take the budget of 1 quarter, that is in 13 weeks. In the question, we want to consider that we are producing 3 products: product 1, product 2, and product 3. So budgeted sales, that estimated sales of the product, is 9,000 units of product 1, 15,000 units of product 2, and 12,000 units of product 3. This is your estimated sales. There is a carryover of 5,000 units of product 2 and 4,000 units of product 3. So you have to have the carryover of 5,000 of product 2 and 4,000 units of product 3, and it is proposed to build up a stock at the end of the budget quarter of product 1, 1,000 units, that is desired closing stock. That is, you are proposing to build up a stock at the end of the budget period, budget quarter. That is, at the end of the budget quarter, the desired closing stock of product 1 is 1,000 units and product 3 is 2,000 units. So, production budget, what you need? Estimated sales, closing stock you have, and the opening stock, that is carryover, that you are carrying the previous data, that is closing stock you are carrying as an opening stock. Opening stock of product 2 is 5,000 and 4,000 units of product 3. So you have the data of estimated sales, you have the data of opening stock, and you have the data of desired closing stock. Okay, so how you prepare for this? Again, you need the direct labor hours required of 3 products manufactured in a factory, each involving more than 1 labor operations. Means each and every products have to go through 3 phases of operation. So we need to know that how much hours required, labor hours required in each and every operations for each and every product. So as you see on the written documents, that in operation 1, product 1 needs 36 minutes. Product 2 needs 42 minutes. And product 3 needs 30 minutes. This product 1 needs 36 minutes in operation 1. Product 2 needs 42 minutes in operation 1, and product 3 needs 30 minutes in operation 1. Again, in operation 2, product 1 don't need to spend even 1 minute. Product 2, 12 minutes, and product 3, 24 minutes. Again, product 1 needs 9 minutes in operation 3, 6 minutes in product 2, and nil in product 3. Now, third is what? How much each worker need to work in 1 quarter. That also you need to have the idea. Suppose one worker works 8 hours in one day, 6 days in a week. Means worker is working 8 hours in a day, 6 days in a week, and in 1 quarter there are 13 weeks. And during this budget quarter, lost hours due to leave and holidays and some other reasons estimated to be 124 hours. That each labor is not working due to leave, due to holidays, and maybe due to some sickness or other reasons. So not working for 124 hours in 1 quarter. It means what? It means you have to calculate that how much total hours available during 1 quarter for each worker. So with the help of this data, because we know that each and every worker is working for some specific hours, so it is very easy to calculate how much total hours available for one worker to work in 1 quarter. Thereafter, we also have to have the idea then that in each and every operations, how much hourly rate you are paying to each and every worker. That you need to know. In operation 1, the hourly wage rate is 2 rupees. In operation 2, the hourly wage rate is 2 rupees 50 paisa. In operation 3, the hourly wage rate is 3 rupees. So, based on these data, you can easily calculate production budget. You can easily calculate direct labor hours. You can easily calculate direct labor cost. You can easily calculate number of men required for each and every operations. You can easily calculate total available hours in a quarter per worker, and thereafter you easily calculate quarterly manpower budget. Now one by one we will discuss each and every part. First of all, we want to calculate production budget. In production budget, how you need to calculate? First of all, I have already told you. Then in production budget, you should have 3 data. What is that? That is estimated sales. What else? Desired closing stock. And what else? That is estimated, that is opening stock. So, with the help of the example, all data you have. That is estimated sales of product 1 is 9,000 units. Closing stock of product 1 is 1,000 units. It is written, that is desired closing stock. You have to proposed it is proposed to build up a stock at the end of each quarter of 1000 units of product 1. It means your desired closing stock is 1000. So 9000 is your estimated sales. Add 1000 of the closing stock, that is 10,000. 9 plus 1 minus opening stock, opening carryover of 5000 units of product 2 and 4000 units of product 3. It means you do not have any carryover of product 1. It means closing opening stock is nil. It means 9000 units of estimated sales plus 1000 units of desired closing stock. So 9 plus estimated closing desired closing stock is 1, that is 10,000 minus opening stock is nil. It means you have to produce 10,000 units of product 1. Now you tell me how much you should produce product 2. For this, you have to have the detailed data of estimated sales of product 2, that is 15,000. Desired closing stock of product 2. Desired closing stock of product 2 is how much? 0, because closing stock is for product 1 and 3. You don't have the desired closing stock of product 2. So closing stock is nil, 0. So estimated sales is 15. Add closing stock 0. That is 15,000 only, minus opening stock. Opening stock of product 2 is 1,000. That is carryover of, you see the questions, carryover of product 2 is 5,000 and 4,000 of product 3. So 15,000 minus opening stock is 5,000 of product 2. The 15 minus 5, that is 10,000. It means again you have to produce how much? 10,000 units of product 2 also. Now come to third. In third, product third, estimated sales is 12,000. Desired closing stock is 3,000. Not 3,000, 2,000. And opening stock is how much? Opening stock is 4,000. That is carryover of product 3 is 4,000. So in this way, 14,000 minus 4,000 is 10,000. So product 3 is also 4,000 units of product 3 you have to produce. It means product 1, 2, 3 you have to produce 10,000. It means you know that how much units you want to produce. In this way, you have to prepare the production budget. Now you have to calculate how much hours available in one quarter for one person, one worker. For this, you have to think that how much each worker is working in one quarter. How much total labor hours each worker have. So in one day, the worker is working for 8 hours. In 1 week, the worker is working for 6 days. Then it means 8 multiplied by 6. And in one quarter, there are 13 weeks. It means 8 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 13. You will get the total hours available in one quarter, that is 624 hours. Now during one quarter, each and every worker is not working for 124 hours due to leave, due to holidays, and due to some other reasons. So you should deduct 124 hours from 624 hours. It means total number of hours available per quarter for per person is how much hours? 500 hours. Is that clear? 500 hours you can see. Now we have to calculate direct labor hours. How you calculate direct labor hours? That is how much hours, how much units each and every product is supposed to produce. So we know that the estimated production, that is product, how much unit you want to produce for product 1, that is 10,000 units. So each and every product supposed to go through 3 phases. Now you have to have the idea that how much hours required to consume in each and every operations for each and every product. As we know that in operation 1, product 1 needs 18 minutes. So first of all, we convert this minutes into hours. For this you have to divide by 60, that is 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 1 units consume 18 by 60, so 10,000 units consume how much hours? 3,000 hours. So 3,000 hours required for product 1 to stay in operations 1. So how much cost incurred in operation 1 for product 1? So how you calculate direct labor cost? That is 3,000 hours required for product 1 to be in operation 1, and in operation 1 the cost which you are paying, that is 2 rupees per hours. So the cost incurred is 3,000 hours multiplied by 2 is 6,000 rupees. 6,000 rupees is your labor, direct labor cost in operation 1. Is that clear? The same way you have to calculate for product 2, product 3. So when you calculate, now it is your responsibility. The same way you calculate for product 2 and 3, because you know that product 2 also direct labor hours is again 10,000 units multiplied by how much hours required, that you have to, how much hours required to be in operation 2. Operation 2 needs how much hours? "42 minutes. So 42 minutes divided by 60. When you divide by 42 divided by 60 multiplied by 10,000, you will get how much? You will get 7,000 hours. 7,000 hours, and rate is 2 rupees in operation 1. So 7,000 multiplied by 2 is 14,000 rupees. Product 3, the same way product 3 takes 30 minutes in operation 1. 30 minutes divided by 60 multiplied by 10,000. This will be 5,000. 5,000 multiplied by 2, that is 10,000. So product, the cost will be how much? Cost will be 6,000 for product 1 in operation 1, 14,000 for product 2 in operation 1, and 10,000 for product 3 in operation 1. When you add 6,000 plus 14,000, 20,000 plus 10,000, 30,000. So total cost incurred in production 1 for all 3 products will be 30,000. And how much hours all 3 products is consuming? That is 3,000 hours for product 1, 7,000 hours for product 2, 7 plus 3, 10,000, and 5,000 for product 3, 10 plus 5, 15,000. It means 15,000 hours required total in operation 1. So now the question is, how much worker required for operation 1? How you calculate? You calculate this only if you have the 2 data. That is how much direct labor hours required and how much each and every worker's work in 1 quarter. So 15,000 labor hours required in operation 1, and each worker works for 500 hours in 1 quarter. So 15,000 hours divided by 500 hours means one worker is working for 500 hours. Then how much worker need to work for 15,000 hours? Simple. That is 30 men, 30 workers required in operation 1. The same way you calculate for operation 2 and 3, and you will get that how much worker is required, how much cost is required in this operations to complete 3 products when there are 3 phases, when the direct labor rate in each operations is given, when estimated sales, opening stock and closing stock has been given, when one worker is working for how many hours, it is already given. So you can easily calculate direct labor hours, direct labor costs, and number of workers required in each and every operations, and in this way how much total number of workers required. And this way you prepare manpower budget. Is that clear? If not, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to ask any questions. Even simple, silly questions you can ask. Then only my purpose will be fruitful. I will get success only if you understand the full video. So thank you very much for sparing time to listen to this video. See you again in the next video. In the next video, we will discuss the fixed and flexible budget. Thank you very much. Thank you.